Right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Blessings. So this is going to be a analysis for the 2024 presidential election. Okay. Um, Let me just start off by saying this election will definitely be like something that we've never seen before. Okay. And I'm just going to get right into it. So this is the chart of Kamala Harris, and this is for November the 5th, election day. Okay. So I won't make this too lengthy. I'm just gonna hit like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, like 8 or 9 bullet points for Kamala, 8 or 9 bullet points for Donald Trump, and give you what I believe is going to happen. Okay. So first with Kamala, on the day of the election, she's going to have Jupiter is going to be conjuncting her ascendant in Gemini. So Jupiter represents like foreign powers. Jupiter represents like foreign business, blessings. Jupiter is like a planet that um, gives you opportunity so that you can make something happen, whereas Saturn is something that you have to make something happen and then you are given an opportunity. All right. So the fact that Jupiter is going to be at the 20th degree, which is a Scorpio degree. So, and it's going to be conjuncting her ascendant at the 24th degree. So, what this means is since you have Jupiter at a Scorpio degree, it's going to be, she is going to have light shed on her, but it's going to be it's going to be like from hidden forces. It's going to be from other people's money. She's going to have opportunities to advance in her life. The spotlight is going to be at her. And this is what happens when you have Jupiter in your first house. It's like a really blessed time in your life. But the fact that it's at the 20th degree means that she's going to be blessed by other people's resources. And Jupiter's also going to be conjunct her North Node in Gemini. Okay. So the fact that you have Jupiter conjunct your ascendant and your North Node, that's a blessed position to have. Very blessed. Okay. And one other thing I want to point out, just a side note, she does have Priapus at the 6th degree. Priapus is like, it definitely deals with like male genitalia. It deals with male ego. It deals with, sexual male repression. And this is at the 6th degree. This can be somebody, right, who was of service to other people, made trips for other people. Gemini represents like short trips. Um, and she did services for them. Okay. And she was like, she used her communication to advance in her life. And it was always going to be on the media. I'm pretty sure when Jupiter was conjuncting this Priapus, then that's when a lot of the, people were talking about her being, like a gigolo, right? I don't want to get this video taken down, so I have to be selective with my words. But if you go back and trace when Jupiter was, right here with her Priapus, then you would see that's when a lot of the stuff with her being a gigolo was coming out. Okay. So that's the first thing. Gemini represents the news. Gemini represents social media. Gemini represents communications, right? So the fact that you have Jupiter in Gemini is like it's going to be favorable for her in the news, and it's conjunct her ascendant, and it's a orb of 4. It's a very close conjunction with her ascendant, right? So very favorable news outcomes, very favorable social media outcomes. The next thing that I'll say is you have Mars. She's going to have her Mars return in the third house, right? The third house also represents media, communications, social media, and the fact that you have your Mars return in Leo. right? Leo is like taking a spotlight. Leo is like how your creativity, right? Leo is like your identity, right? So the fact that you have your Mars return in the third house is another good, you know, that's a good placement to have. Okay. She's going to have Venus in the seventh house. Okay. Venus represents, of course, like money, how you get your resources, right? But the fact that it's in the seventh house is like contracts, binding agreements. It can also be like open enemies, but it's like your relationships that you have. And she's the fact that you have Venus and the seventh house in Sagittarius means that there are going to be foreign contracts established, relationships being built with foreign entities, foreign powers, right? And the ruler of Sagittarius is in her 12th house, right? So it's it's double it's a double-edged sword here because although you are establishing these relationships with foreign powers, those relationships will eventually be used against you because the people that are establishing these relationships, her Jupiter is in a Saturn decan. They're going to eventually use these relationships as a form of manipulation over her, turning them into, well, they are actually already her hidden enemies, but posing as, um, people that they are building relationships with. And to another point to that, this can very well be open enemies, like people that she is manipulating, like people that she can manipulate to gain control over, right? And that's why you see everybody coming out endorsing her because she could have some type of binding agreement, some type of blackmail over these people in order for them to endorse her, right? That's where you have this um, Jupiter in the 12th house and a Saturn decan in Taurus. So the relationships that she is building with these people, they are also a way for her to, financially, um, her finances to increase. So I'm pretty sure if this is the placement of somebody, was running for president, I'm not going to give you the answer now. If somebody was running for president, right? This would be a way for them to not only get what the president makes, but almost double what the president makes due to these, contracts that's being established. And the fact that you have Uranus conjuncting Jupiter, all right? Uranus is benefactors, like people donating to you, like big businesses, your hopes and wishes, right? So this is, she is definitely getting foreign aid, right? Jupiter also, Jupiter represents foreign entities. Okay. And with this being said, the seventh house is also your marriage. So of course, her marriage partner is foreign, but her marriage partner is also connected to foreign powers that is putting her closer to where she needs to be. All right. I'm not going to say who those foreign powers are because this video would definitely be banned, but look into her husband and her husband's background. Um, okay. So the next thing is the sun is sextiling Venus, right? So the fact that you have the sun sextiling Venus, she has a Libra sun, right? The 27 degree. The 27 degree represents Gemini, again, communication, social media, the media, and it's sextiling with Venus. And of course, like I just said, Venus is in her seventh house. So again, it's another confirmation of foreign contracts being established. And you have her sun that is conjunct Mercury. Mercury is in Scorpio, right? Again, you have Mercury in Scorpio. This is and the Mercury is in a Pluto decan. So again, gaining and the Mercury's at the first degree, so it's gaining these resources from from other entities, but these resources is going to be a way for you to be spotlighted in the media and for you to gain these foreign relationships because her sun is in Libra, but in a Mercury deacon. So you have your sun at the 27th degree, which is a Mercurian degree, and it's in a Mercury deacon. So she is doing a lot of lip service, but the fact that Mercury is in Scorpio is hidden, right? It's a lot going on beneath the surface, a lot of hidden contracts, a lot of hidden talks with these foreign entities, right? And if you were to look at what her Mercury is doing, her Mercury is um, is in the transiting Mercury is in the seventh house, right? Again, lip service with these foreign entities, right? And you can see it's hovering over a Jupiter deacon and it's close to Juno. So these relationships are being established in a way that, it's really um is putting her where she needs to be. And it's I won't just say it's from one foreign entity. This is several different people investing in her that doesn't want her main opponent to win. All right. Another thing that I want to point out. So here you can see that you have her sun, right? Her sun is trining Jupiter on that day. So, man. So again, Jupiter is going to be in the first house. To have your sun trine Jupiter is a very favorable aspect, right? So it's, the spotlight that's going to be shed on her, right? No matter, the way that she's botching interviews, right? Like none of that is going to matter with the way that she's being set up in the background, right? Sun and Gemini, I'm sorry, Sun in Libra, Jupiter in Gemini, Sun in a Mercury deacon, Jupiter in a Mercury sign. All right. So um, very good results in the media, right? There's a lot of good communications that's going on in the background. A lot of talks being said, a lot of contracts being established. You can see the same thing being duplicated all over her chart, right? The fact that you got your sun trining Jupiter, your sun trining Jupiter in Gemini, that's a contract being established. And it's literally on your ascendant. Like that is your personality, your makeup, like who you are as a person. And it's her sun her ascendant is at the same degree as her north node. Your north node is like your soul's direction in life, right? Boy, oh boy. And she came into this life already knowing how to be like to master foreign relationships because she's a South Node Sagittarius, right? So establishing relationships with foreign entities, like, you know, even going to these places personally and talking with these people face to face, it's not a problem for her because her South Node conjuncts her part of fortune. And her part of fortune is in the sun, deacon. Your part of fortune is gifts, like things that you are blessed with naturally. You don't even have to try. So to have your South Node conjunct your part of fortune in the seventh house, these are relationships that come to you effortlessly, contracts that come to you effortlessly. All right. And you're going to have Venus at the 21st degree is going to conjunct her South Node. It's going to conjunct her part of fortune. Not to mention the moon is, right? The moon is also going to be here conjuncting her part of fortune and conjuncting um, her Venus, right? Very, very, this is why when when you see her, in these conferences, she's always laughing because she just feels very comfortable right now, especially on that day because the moon changes so fast. She's on this day, the moon's going to be in her seventh house, right? She's going to be sitting nice, comfortably. And one other thing I want to point out, if you look at her moon, the transiting moon in Sagittarius is going to sextile her sun, right? And it's going to trine trine her natal moon, right? Her natal moon is in the 11th house. So it's being very secure, right? And you're going to have Priapus that's going to be, sitting right on top of her moon. Her moon is at the 27th degree, again, a Mercury degree, right? So she is going to be helped by some of the same men that she serviced, really, if I'm being blunt, right? Like these men, these powerful men, right, waving their Johnsons in the air. These are the ones that are making her feel comfortable, right? You have this taking place in Aries, right? And her natal Mars is in her third house. In Leo. Yeah, feeling very secure. And she's going to be going through her Mars return. Okay. Um, you're also going to have Mercury squaring Saturn. This is going to cause a cyber issue, right? Some type of tech manipulation, right? I wouldn't be surprised if that was to happen with this Mars squaring Saturn, right? And of course, Saturn is in, um, let's see. So we're transiting Mars. Let's see. We're transiting. I'm sorry, not Mars. I meant to say Mercury. So you're going to have the transiting Mercury squaring Saturn. Okay. So that is going to cause a cyber issue, tech manipulation, right? And the cyber issue and the tech manipulation, the transiting Mercury is going to be in Sagittarius. Is going to come from foreign powers that are very good with artificial intelligence and cyber attacks. I would not be surprised if it was China causing this tech manipulation, right? And she has not only one more thing I want to point out, Jupiter trine Saturn, right? Jupiter trining Saturn, and Saturn is conjuncting her midheaven. Mm. So when you have somebody who has their Saturn in Aquarius, what has came to her later in life, something that she had to master, was these relationships with corporations, was these relationships with big business, and it's at the 28th degree. So she had to do it in a way that, makes her feel comfortable, secure. And the way that you can see that is the fact that the sign that um, Saturn rules is in Capricorn, right? And she has, well, I don't want to talk about the Lilith because I already pretty much talked about that with Priapus, but to have Lilith at the first degree in the Saturn deacon, um, she's being controlled. And she had to be funny for that money because this is in the eighth house. So she got low down to get to where she is, but I won't, you know, um, Saturn, Capricorn represents the way the public sees you, right? Capricorn also represents presidents. And so she's literally having other people finance her presidential seat, right? And she has Vesta that is at the same degree as her midheaven. So you can see that she has a burning desire to implement this into her life, even if it is with these hidden enemies that's financing her, even if it is, you know, um, done in a way that is manipulative. It's going to be an illusion that's going to get her into the presidential seat, right? It's going to be illusion because she even okay, even if somebody's declared as the winner, it's going to be very confusing. Like nobody's gonna know what the fuck happened. Like it's gonna be a lot of like, wait, what? Did that just happen? Like, numbers being manipulated. People are going to leave this election just feeling overwhelmingly confused. And it's in that Neptune deacon, like her midheaven in Pisces. Like y'all, overwhelmingly confused. Um, and she has her midheaven that's trining her Mercury. That's why nobody can understand what she's saying, and that's why she's always changing her accent. But anyway, those aren't important things. Um, I can go on and on, but I said I'm going to make this short, so let me go ahead and move to Donald Trump's charts. Uh, Trump. Okay, so with Donald Trump is also going to go through his Mars return in Leo in the first house, right? Um, Now, Mars is going to conjunct his Pluto with the orb of nine, okay? Um, Keep that in mind. Mars is going to conjunct his Pluto with the orb of nine. His Pluto is at the 10th degree. The 10th degree represents Capricorn, represents Saturn, right? Um, and it's right there. It's sitting right there. Let me see. So you got Pluto in his first deacon, and it's in his sun deacon, right? Um, and you have Mars is going to conjunct his Venus in the 12th house. And the 12th house is the house of hidden enemies. His Venus is at the 25th degree, which is a Mars degree. You're going to see a theme that I'm building here as we move on. Um, Pretty much, let me see. Let me take 1 second, see what double check to see when Mars goes retrograde. Okay. So I had to double check to see when Mars was going retrograde. So Mars is going retrograde December the 6th. But I remember writing down in my notes here that Donald Trump could face life-ending consequences 11 November the 18th through December the 1st. I just randomly wrote that in my notes one day. So, okay, which means that you can have right here, which means that you can have, these hidden enemies that are going to be, I guess you can say, putting a target on his head, for lack of better phrases. You're also going to have Neptune squaring his sun. Neptune is the welcomer to the afterlife, right? And his sun is at the 22nd degree, which is a degree that is usually associated with, unaliving somebody or somebody unaliving you. Okay. And you're going to have Jupiter, actually, let me keep going down this list. So you're going to have the sun opposing Venus, right? His sun at the 22nd degree is going to be opposing Venus. Venus is also going to be at the 22nd degree. And Venus is going to conjunct his moon. And the moon is about your security. And the moon is in Sagittarius, your security. Venus also, Venus represents how you get money, conquer, and everything. But let's not get it twisted. Venus is also Lucifer. Venus is also associated with war, right? So it's his, and not only is Venus going to conjunct his, his moon, his natal moon, but he's going to be going through his lunar return. So his security is going to be jeopardized. And Venus is going to be conjunct Pallas. Pallas, Athena is all about pattern watching. You're going to have people that are, watching his every single step, because if his life is jeopardized, you're going to have people that are knowing his every step to where they won't, if it's an actual attempt on his life, they're not going to miss, right? Again, this is going to be foreign entities, foreign powers that's going to be controlling this. You're going to have Chiron squaring his vertex. Chiron is going to be in um, Aries in the ninth house. The ninth house is associated again with foreign entities, foreign powers, and the fact that you're going to have Chiron in Aries. Aries, in this case, can represent, bloodshed, guns, weapons coming from foreign powers. Chiron, is like a wounded healer, and it can represent, an area of your life where you could face adversity, like for example, like Diddy is going through his Chiron return. You got um Jay-Z going through his Chiron return. You had this other dude who uh Jonathan Majors is going through his Chiron return. Every single one of them got embarrassing media, right? So the fact that you're going to have Chiron squaring your vertex, and your vertex is at the 22nd degree and it's in Capricorn, right? That is, um, mm, mm, mm. that could definitely, again, be a way of somebody taking a chance on his life in a very public arena, very public field, because the again, Capricorn represents like how you're seen in the world, how the world sees you, right? Very public arena. And have your vertex at the 22nd degree squaring Chiron is another setup that I'm seeing that could be a life-ending situation. You're also going to have his moon, right? The moon is going to be at the 22nd degree. And the moon is going to be opposing his sun at the 22nd degree. Again, his security being jeopardized. And this is going to be going on during his lunar return in Sagittarius, right? The moon at the 22nd degree, the person that's going to be jeopardizing your security again is coming from a foreign power, foreign entity. Jupiter at the 20th degree, the 20th degree is a Scorpio degree, right? Scorpio is associated with life and death, literal being taken out of your physical body. And that is going to be conjunct his sun at the 22nd degree. And it's retrograde, right? So again, another situation that can be, you know, um, put somebody in harm's way. Another one is you're going to have Juno that's entering Scorpio. Juno represents, out of all the things I could say about Juno, Juno represents, in this case, betrayal. And Juno and Scorpio, again, Scorpio, like I just said, can represent um, life in these situations, other people's money, taxes, divorce, like all that stuff, other people's belongings. But in this case, life and death is going to be squaring Venus. right? Um, so you're gonna have Juno again can represent betrayal. It's gonna be at the zero, like it's entering Scorpio on that day, I believe. Let me see. Yes, it's entering Scorpio on the day of the election, right? And it's gonna be, squaring his Venus, and his Venus is in the 12th house of hidden enemies. His Venus is conjunct Saturn, right? And this Venus is in a Neptune deacon in the 12th house. Neptune is the welcomer to the afterlife. You also have Saturn in the Neptune deacon, right? Causing restriction, causing, your structure to be compromised because you're also going to have the um, Juno squaring Saturn. And Saturn is something that happens in a very public arena, right? It's a way that you are if it's a betrayal, it's going to be a way that you are confined and restricted in a way that you can escape it. Not saying this is going to happen. I'm just saying what his chart is showing. All right, people. You're also going to have Uranus, right? Uranus is going to conjunct his midheaven. His midheaven is at the 24th degree. Again, the 24th degree is not usually associated with death, but it is a Neptune degree. So it could be associated with death. Uranus brings in sudden changes, right? Uranus brings in sudden changes. And the ruler of Taurus, which Uranus is going to be in, which is midheaven is in, is, again, like I just said, Venus in the 12th house in Cancer. Cancer, again, represents your security, your comfort, even your home, right? You're also going to have Sun in Scorpio that's going to be squaring Pluto, right? Sun in Scorpio is going to be squaring his Pluto in the first house at the 10th degree. That the first house is you, your physical body, like that's you, the I am energy. And the sun is going to be in the fourth house, again, your security. Let me see another thing that I can point out here. Um, Let me try to say something good. I mean, the fact that he's going to have his son. Um, I mean, also on the other side of that, the fact that he's going to have, Jupiter that's going to conjunct his sun in Gemini, that can be favorable as well. And the 22nd degree is um, a Capricorn degree, right? It's a presidential degree. Capricorn represents it's the house of presidents. So that is, could be a position that illuminates somebody in the media as well, right? To have your sun in Gemini and have your, Jupiter shedding light on your sun, that is a favorable position to have. Um, what else? The fact that you're going to be going through your Mars return in your first house. Your first house brings about changes to you, like your identity. Like usually when Mars is retrograding in your first house, it is like you can't go through this sign, through this transit rather, without changing who you are. Drink some water here. What else can I say that's good? Um, I mean, he's going to have Saturn. Saturn has been in Pisces for a while. It is going to be in Pisces, but the reason why you've been seeing, a lot of restriction with his finances is because he has Saturn in the eighth house. When Saturn is in your eighth house, it can be a time that is honestly like when you are struggling for money or money is being stripped away from you if you aren't financially literate, right? So it's he has to do a lot of grassroots, fundraising. I mean, he's wealthy, he's rich, right? But a lot of the money that he probably would have bet on coming to him is not there like he would expect it to be, right? Because that's being restricted right now. He's not being seen favorable overseas because he has Chiron in his ninth house in Aries. So you could have, people overseas actually attacking his character. That's exactly what this placement is. And he has Priapus conjunct his ninth house. So again, men waving their Johnsons in the air that are intentionally try to, sabotage his character. Foreign entities literally sabotaging his character. Aries is your character, like how you go about doing things, your MO. And to have Uranus right above your midheaven, that is Uranus is so unpredictable, right? Especially with Uranus representing, you know, donations, people, benefactors, big businesses, your hopes and wishes, that can change in an instant, right? Um, you do have Jupiter that's highlighting his uh his natal Uranus in Gemini. So just really, you know, being dunked on in the news, right? And you have his Uranus is at the 17th degree. And the fact that you have Jupiter retrograding. So yeah, this is why people are taking a dump on him in the news constantly. This conjunct his Uranus, right? With the orb before. So this is literally why he has the relationship with the media that he has, and it's always changing because the people behind the media, you know, he's being it's like it's a sword fight, but they're not fighting with swords, if you get my drift, you know. Um, that this all the placements that I show you, they are concerning y'all, and I'm just gonna be very blunt. These placements that I just talked about could be a setup for somebody to lose their life, or at least have another assassination attempt, but a real one. Not saying the other ones weren't real, but actually somebody's life would really be in danger. Um, Let me see what else I can point out. One second. So one more thing that I want to add is here's Barron Trump's chart, right? Barron Trump. His chart deserves a whole nother video, but you're going to see what takes place with him in the future. Um, anyway, so if you look at Barron Trump's chart, I think I'm running out of time here, but if you run, Barron Trump has his Pluto squaring his sun. The sun represents your father. The sun represents your father. Pluto is in his 10th house. The 10th house represents your dominant parent, your father. Okay. His Pluto is in a sun deacon. His Pluto is in Sagittarius. And the fact that you got Pluto that's squaring his sun and his sun's at the 29th degree. Coincidentally, his dad, you know, his let me go back. I want to say Donald Trump's son is at the 29th degree, but I'm gonna check that. Or I think his ascendant rather is at the 29th degree. There you go. But his son is in a Pluto decan, right? And it's in Pisces. So this right here, just looking at this alone, right? And this is for November the 5th. So he's going to have Saturn, he's going to have Neptune in Pisces, right? That's going to be conjuncting his sun. That is another confirmation, y'all, for your father losing his life. Okay. That's another confirmation for your father losing his life. And the fact that you have Pluto, the welcomer to death, squaring your son that represents your father, that's, that's not a good sign. So I wanted to bring in, Baron Trump's chart to kind of give you like a confirmation of what I'm showing you is not, mm, the fact that you're going to have the transiting sun in Scorpio, right? That's going to be conjunct Jupiter in at the 18th degree and and a Pisces deacon. These are all confirmations that, your father passed away in a very public arena. Like everybody father passes away, right? But it's going to be a certain type of way. I have to be very careful with my words here. But let me bring up Donald Trump chart just to kind of close this thing out. So just to close this thing out, I hope nothing happens to anybody that's in a violent matter. I never wish any type of harm to anybody, right? Ever. Um, but I'm just showing you something that could happen, right? So what I'm saying that can happen is by manipulation, Kamala Harris could be declared the winner of this presidential race, right? And Donald Trump's life could be put in danger in a very serious way, right? But Barron Trump losing his father is only going to fuel him. But that's, like I said, I'll go back to, if y'all remind me, I'll go back to Trump's chart sometime in the future. But this is my analysis. I hope that you were able to come here and gain something from that. Um, Again, astrology just kind of shows you patterns, things that could happen. Um, and yeah, okay. So that's my analysis. If you all like this video, please be sure to go ahead and smash the like button, share, follow, and I'll see you in the next astrological analysis. Much love to y'all. Blessings.